I once again sit here in the holy Beis Hamikdash, Kosel, in the room of the Sifrei Torah, and feel the tremendous awe of the divine presence here, which exists in the Kosel. I'm now looking at the door to the room which the Sifrei Torah kept, and I can see people davening here, and it's truly inspiring and helps open up my heart to speak to you today as we get closer to the Yontif of Pesach. We spoke in the last year, about going from Abdus to Cheres, going from slavery to freedom, which is the goal of Seder night, is to feel that we left Mitzrayim. In order to do that, there's two steps needed. We have to go from Abdus to Cheres, from slavery to freedom. In order to do that, we first have to feel like slaves. So how do we do this? It's not easy. In the times of Chazal, even as little as 200 years ago, or perhaps a little more, I don't remember exactly when, or less, when Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, there was a concept of slavery in the world. There were slaves, there were people whose every call and becking was to do the will of their master, and that concept was very prevalent in the world today. If you open up Shulchan Aruch, you'll even find the halachas of owning a Jewish slave or a non-Jewish slave. This was something which was quite common. People could look at the slave and understand what slavery was about. And in fact, the Gemara tells us that that was part of Seder night. For one instance, in times of the Gemara, that they just looked at a slave and understood that this is what it was like for us to be in Mitzrayim. We were slaves. What is slavery really all about? And what does it mean to be a slave to Hashem? The pasuk in Tehillim says, "Ani abducha beina mosecha patachta lemoserai." Right? I am the slave, the the son of an amma, of a female slave. Patachta lemoserai. Open up the shackles. Right? What is David HaMelech telling us in this verse? And the answer is as follows: that really true slavery is when a person doesn't know anything else except for slavery. If a person is slave by force, then that is not the true slavery that we're striving for. Slavery is when someone doesn't know anything else in his life except for slavery, and he feels totally indebted, he feels totally incumbent on the master, and totally given over to that service because he doesn't know anything else in his life. This is the type of slavery that we are hoping to achieve emotionally, mentally, and physically, as it were, as we prepare for Seder night. To understand that really the only thing that should have any importance in our life is the service of Hashem, is to feel that slavery, feel that we're indebted. Ana ovduk de kuchbri. I'm an Eved of Hashem. When a person feels that avdus, he feels like there is nothing else in my life. I recently heard a hesped, Rav Chaim Kanievsky, from Rav Reuven Leuchter, and he said as follows. He said Rav Chaim said about himself that he had two um, special attributes. Right, one was that he liked a good joke, and the second one that was lazy. Asked Rav Reuven Leuchter, what does it mean that Rav Chaim was lazy? He was learning Yomam V'Laila, right? He was learning Kol Torah Kula every year, right? People, if a person learns Kol Torah Kula in his lifetime, that's an unbelievable accomplishment. Every single year to finish Kol Torah Kula, how can such an incredibly great individual call himself lazy? What does that mean? Sever of Leuchter, his laziness was that when he was davening, he didn't look up because he didn't know anything in the world else except for serving Hashem and Torah. He was lazy. He wasn't interested in anything else in existence except for Torah and serving Hashem. He didn't want to um, pursue any other endeavors. And this is what David HaMelech meant. Ani abducha beina masecha patachta lemoserai. Right? I am your slave, the daughter, the son of a maidservant. I don't know anything else for except for that. Open up the shackles which bind me because I don't need them anymore. I don't need any shackles anymore because I'm totally and completely given over to you. I don't know anything else in my life except for serving Hashem. This is the slavery that we're hoping to achieve as we get closer and closer to Seder night. If we can come and even touch on this level, right? Touch on this level. And the slavery that we endured in Mitzrayim was a siman. It was a sign of being totally given over to work. That not knowing anything else, and not having the ability to investigate anything else. Shevet Levi, who can study Torah with diligence, they didn't need the slavery because they had a different type of slavery. They had the slavery of being completely given over to Hashem, as Rav Chaim Kanievsky had, and as other great tzaddikim of the Jewish people have had. We will not be Rav Chaim Kanievsky, and we probably won't even be, most likely won't be Rebbetzin Kanievsky, the woman, men amongst us. But we do have an opportunity to each person, according to his understanding, his clarity, to be totally and completely given over to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Anu of the Kuchabrichu, I am a slave of Hashem. Rabban Yamin Fingal, my son's mashgiach, who's now the mashgiach, when he was in Yeshiva Katana, who's now the mashgiach of the Mir, once asked, why do we say Anoah, 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 Ana of the Kuchabrichu? Right? Why do we say it 3 times when we sing that? Right? On the yontif of on that in that particular niggun. So I wanted to suggest Ano means nefesh ruach and neshama. All aspects of my personality should be completely given over to Hashem, and that's true slavery. That's the true slavery. That is the true slavery to Hashem. We should merit to come to that level and that recognition. Hashem should help us. We should eliminate all machlokas from our life, all dispute, all talk communication which is not sensitive and not kind. We should eliminate every single word, right, which comes from negative attributes that we might have in ourselves. This is true slavery, Hashem. When all a person's actions are guided and focused only to do what Hashem wants, and what Hashem wants is for us to have total love for every single Jew, and not to have even the smallest iota of any bad feelings towards another Jew, because that stops the Shekhinah from resting in our heart, and that is what's stopping the Gula. I was writing Rav David Koyen, Shlita, not long ago, and he told me the Alshich writes in Parshas Truma, right, the main base of Mikdash is not the building which will hopefully exist here in this area, but very, very soon. It's the heart. When we clean the hearts out of every single iota of anything negative, any bad feelings, any hatred of another Jew, then that is true slavery to Hashem. Hashem should help us reach this elevated level very, very soon. Amen. Kain Tehiratzan.